Once again, we are back on Ek Bun Soch Ki Tea Talk Train of Thought, a series of an episode with Mr. Krishnarao Buddha, Senior Category Head in Marketing with Parle Products Limited. Now, we have seen his journey of 21 years emotionally attached to Parle brand, where there's a lot of learning, lot of an innovation which is there. Now, in this episode, we are going to catch up with an biscuit as an industry, like where the CAGR is at 12.4%, and if you'll see the market size is USD 5,151 million in 2020, but is expected to grow at 11,792 million in 27. And there are the various categories in biscuits like glucose, Marie, crackers, milk, and etc. Since we are having an expert on Tea Talk show, Mr. Krishnarao Buddha, we would like to know more insights as far as how the biscuit industry evolved as for the India. So once again, welcome to Tea Talk.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So I'll take you back to the journey of Parle. Yeah. So how it began. So the journey. So actually, the journey of Parle began with confectionery. Mm-hmm. That was way back in 1929. Okay. And only to get into biscuits 10 years later. So 1938-39 is when we got into biscuits, and we launched because that time the Britishers were ruling the country, and some imported biscuits were available, and these were very expensive, prohibitive actually in terms of cost, etc., and they were not really accessible to the common man. Mm-hmm. And that's when the founders felt that there was a gap. There was a gap. There was a need gap to actually introduce some affordable biscuits for the entire country, and that made them think about introducing biscuits. They learned the art of making biscuits from Europe, came back, set up, bought some state-of-art machinery, set up the plants here, and started very small with about 12 people, and went on to grow very, very, very fast. And the first biscuits introduced were the glucose biscuits, or glucose biscuits. Initially, they were called as glucose biscuits. And Monaco. So actually, there is a trivia. There is a thought. One would wonder how the founders got the name Monaco. So actually, the name Monaco stands for Mohanlal, Nathalal and Company.
Oh, okay. So is there another great insights of an Parle, how the Namkaran of Monaco happened like?
Yes. Okay. So it sounds so premium, so European, so Western, but that's the name. And but as time progressed, so there were a lot of imitations that started surfacing in the market, and everyone started calling themselves this glucose, that glucose, and that's when the founders thought to cut it short as gluco. Because glucose obviously is generic and cannot be registered, and that's why we sort of registered gluco as a brand trademark for us. But even gluco and glucose, there wasn't really much of a differentiation, and that's when the need was felt to actually categorically differentiate the brand, and hence the new name as Parle G for gluco actually.
सर बचपन से जब से हमने होश संभाला है, सबसे पहला उठते हैं तो हाथ में चाय के साथ में मम्मी पार्ले के पैकेट रख देती है.
That's right.
और हम जब भी सफर करते हैं ट्रेनों में, खिड़की के बाहर देखो तो हमें पार्ले जी दिखता है.
Correct.
आप बसों में ट्रैवल करोगे, कहाँ भी दूसरे बस स्टैंड में जाओगे, सामने पार्ले दिखता है.
Absolutely.
आप कोई भी लेन में जाओगे, छोटी सी गुंटी में भी पार्ले दिखता है.
Correct.
आज भी पार्ले, I think I have seen in the remotest of the remote place.
Yes.
वो दुकान अधूरी है पार्ले के बिना.
Yes, absolutely.
So you like to know, our target audience would like to know the innovation.
Yes.
In Parle, still like it's you can afford to give that Parle at the tag of 2 rupees, 5 rupees and 10 rupees.
Yes.
So how the innovations have taken place?
Yes. So जैसे हमने ये पार्ले जी किया, so the philosophy was to make it affordable, easily affordable by everybody in the country. So affordability was the name of the game, and that was the continuous focus for the company. So if you would remember, Parle G was actually retailed in tins. So we had like 15 kilo के tins में दिया जाते थे. And slowly and steadily, so from there, and they were available in wax paper wrappers.
Wax paper wrappers. Okay.
Yeah. So we had the entire infrastructure based upon that, and then slowly and steadily, as time progressed, as the costs went on to increase, we had to continuously innovate. We had to continuously look at opportunities and options to better our offering. And I'll tell you, for the longest of the time, for as much as 10 years, Parle ensured and did not take any price increase at all. For this brand.
10 years.
For 10 years. So how did we manage the cost? So there was immense cost pressure. But every time we looked at innovating on every aspect of the business.
So reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering, absolutely. So every aspect of the product, the recipe, the packaging, the manufacturing process, bringing in lots and lots of process efficiencies. Not just that, even logistic efficiencies and challenges we overcame, and we brought in logistical efficiencies as well. So because the demand was immense, earlier we were supplying from one factory to the entire country. Then we set up another factory that brought us our cost, freight cost, with the primary and secondary freight cost much lower. We started creating an infrastructure where we had set up depots, warehouses at different states, and it became easier for us to ensure that our product, the time to market, was continuously being reduced. So that kind of a reverse engineering happened, and that is how we were able to sustain and maintain price at without changing the pricing at all, despite having severe pressure in terms of profitability, etc. But that was the motto. So we were willing to operate at lower margins. We were sort of sacrificing in terms of margins, but the motto remained the same, that we wanted to be available in every nook and corner of the city. And there have been umpteen cases, as you rightly mentioned. People said that Leh Ladakh पे कि कुछ नहीं मिलता है लेकिन पार्ले जी मिलता है, चाय वाला रहता है, चाय के साथ में पार्ले जी मिलती है.
Correct.
And not just that, see, as a country, in the past 4 to 5 decades, our country has evolved like big time. And from the time where people, for them, journey in flight was extremely aspirational. Now it's become like really accessible to many people. So journey by road, in terms of the public transport, say by train or by bus, was very, very common phenomena across the country. But the problem was, and these were long journeys. It took actually 2 days, 3 days over journeys for people, for consumers to reach from point A to point B. And actually one could not carry so much of food, homemade food. And there was not really hygienic food available across platforms, across stations in those days. So if you could remember, even water was being carried from our own homes. And actually people would actually refill water at different stations. And even we would find that water was not really available in most of the stations. So that was the time. So consumers actually preferred to actually carry a pack of Parle G, few packs of Parle G in their bags, and they would actually dip it in tea, either tea or even in water.
Even water also,
And what a delight! Actually, they say the consumers, there are die-hard consumers who actually enjoy their Parle G dipped in water. They say कि चाय में डिपोने तो ठीक है, अपना एक टेस्ट है, बट इफ यू डिप इट इन वाटर, इट डज नॉट डिस्टर्ब द टेस्ट ऑफ पार्ले जी. Actually, on the contrary, it enhances the taste of Parle G. And they cherish and they love the taste of Parle G. So Parle G became an instant hit, and everyone, like you said, and affordable price point. Now we have upgraded from 1 rupee price point to 2 rupee price point. But otherwise it was available at 1 rupees, 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 4 rupees and 5 rupees and so on and so forth. Right till 1 kg pack in Parle G. We were one of the first innovators to have a 1 kg pack in a glucose biscuit. And from there we upgraded to the BOPP, what is called as like bioaxially oriented polypropylene.
Packaging, lot of innovation which has been done.
Correct. So that required a change in infrastructure, and that also helped us in improving our shelf life of the product, and that also made it much easier, for us to transport and make it easily available to our consumers, and so that was one aspect. But now, so if you look at overall innovations in biscuits, that is a story of Parle Ji for sure. But if you look at innovation history of Parle in biscuits particularly, so Parle has always been known for innovating. Right. Innovation. So look at a biscuit, a salty cracker, which is Monaco. So one of the finest biscuits available in the country. No brand comes closer to a brand like Monaco. And the story of Crackjack is very exciting. Actually, so we had these two lines, making a sweet biscuit and a salty biscuit running parallelly. One fine day, it so happened that the dough of these both got mixed accidentally. And we went on to produce a biscuit, and someone tasted this and they said, "यार ये biscuit बहुत अच्छा है, इसमें sweet और salt का taste दोनों आ रहा है. Why don't we go for such a product?" And that was the starting point for yet another innovation from the house of Parle, and that we called as Crack and Jack. So because we said, and we created characterization, we gave characterization to Crack and Jack. These are like two characters, one is sweet and one is salty. One is bhola bhala and one is very notorious, naughty.
So we have seen that advertisement.
That imagery, and that became an instant success. So Crack Jack went on to become a very successful brand from the house of Parle. Not just that. So like I mentioned earlier about Cheeselings. Cheeseling was a clutter-breaking, very innovative brand from Parle, and even today, no brand comes closer to a brand like Cheeseling. So that was.
So one more thing in biscuit category, like
yes.
Now there is an Parle Platina also, like
correct.
So the innovation has been done in the glucose and all the relevant category which are there.
Yes.
So can you throw some light on Parle Platina, please?
Absolutely. So. For the longest of the time, consumers started perceiving Parle as a value player. So we felt okay. So though we are definitely a value player, but at the same time, we were capable of making the best of the finest of the biscuits in the country. And I'll tell you a story of one of our Parle Platina brands now. So it's Hide and Seek. So Hide and Seek took more than 7 years before actually it came out in the market. So the R&D, the research and development that went in to create a brand like Hide and Seek, a product like Hide and Seek, it took almost about 7 years. So a thorough research, because it is the world's first choco chip biscuit. Molded. It's molded. Otherwise, you have wire cut. So wire cut is a different variety. Correct. So those cookies are available globally. But a molded choco chip biscuit was absolutely an out and out innovation. So because the moment it was getting into the baking mechanism, into the oven, so it was extremely important for us to ensure that the choco chips inside did not melt. At such a high temperature. So we were able to get this product out, and as it started hitting the retail shelves, it became an instant hit. And that prompted us. So Hide and Seek became a solid, super success, and consumers were like really absolutely delighted. Parle can make such a wonderful product, a premium, such a world-class product actually. Because after giving some mass brands like Parle Ji, Crack Jack, Monaco, Happy, Top, there are several such brands which are like out and out successes. 2020, and then comes like a super premium brand like Hide and Seek. And that actually motivated us to launch yet another brand called Milano.
We see on the shelf like
absolutely, it is a pure indulgence cookie, and like it's a very rich and terrific cookie. So like consumers swear by such a brand. And while this was happening, we really felt the need for us to differentiate
Okay.
This portfolio from the value offering.
Okay.
And that's when we felt. So typically I would give you an example of a parallel example in automobile industry with say Maruti. So if you look at Maruti is a value player. So started with 800, started with then went on to make big numbers with Alto, and then of course comes Wagoner, and then Ertiga. You have brands like Swift, and then comes Ertiga, and now you have several. So what happens is the Indian consumers till the time the 10 लाख की गाड़ी लेनी है तो मुझे मारुति लेनी है, पहली गाड़ी लेनी है तो मारुति लेनी है, बट अगर मेरा बजट 10 के ऊपर जा रहा है then consumers go to some other brands. Then they look at alternative brands like a Toyota, maybe a Hyundai, maybe a Volkswagen, or there are several such brands available in the country.
So you have to go above the value pack.
Correct. So somewhere the perception for a brand is like it is restricted. कि 10 लाख की गाड़ी है तो ये लेता हूँ, लेकिन उसके ऊपर मेरा बजट है, because then I want aspiration, then I want that the snob value, that status. Maruti gives me a feeling of like कि यार ये तो 10 लाख वाली गाड़ी है, but something so similar, and that's when probably as a marketer, when I look closely at a brand like Maruti, is when I noticed that even for them to differentiate, they felt कि SUV premium SUV मेरी चल क्यों नहीं रही है, somehow it's not finding consumer traction. That's when they came up with a separate division called Nexa. And then they launched their premium varieties, and those are doing relatively much better now. Be it a Brezza, be it a Ciaz or XL6 and XLS and all. So those are the new brands under Nexa, which are relatively doing well. But I think there is still a lot more opportunity for a brand like Maruti. Likewise, actually, so we thought of hiving it off and giving a separate name. And that's when we introduced this new division called Parle Platina. So this was
Milano.
Absolutely. So we bought our existing brands like Hide and Seek and Milano under the umbrella of Parle Platina, and then we went on to extend the portfolio by launching another brand called NutriCrunch.
NutriCrunch.
So NutriCrunch is also part of Parle Platina, where we have crackers, light crackers, and we have digestive Mari under it, and then we also have the digestive cookies, which are very, very health and very premium offerings, oatmeals and honey and all those cookies under NutriCrunch. So that's the portfolio, and in fact breakfast cereals, which is Hide and Seek Fills, is also part of Hide and Seek Platina. So anything that is indulgent and that is high end, we have been we have positioned it as a part of Parle Platina.
I think it's an excellent case study of Parle, where we have seen how the innovations they have done in the glucose biscuit across the element of a marketing mix. Let it be distribution, let it be product innovation, let it be packaging, let it be operation efficiency, or let it be strategic location as well as the factory, and shift from and value to an Parle Platina, where beautifully I think the examples of an Hide and Seek and Milano and the other product which are there, it's an excellent insight. Only I think exclusively it was given on Tea Talk platform by Mr. Krishnarao, Buddha, Senior Category Head of Marketing with Parle. It's a series of an episode what we are doing with Mr. Krishnarao Buddha as far his journey and his experience which are concerned. If you like this episode, please subscribe and like as much as you can. So thank you very much once again for being part of this Tea Talk show. Thank you very much.